Silence is my weapon. Success is my revenge.
I step forward, my eyes locked on yours with unwavering intensity. You spent how many years now? How many precious years of your life trying to convince people? Trying to prove yourself? Trying to win arguments with people who were never going to listen anyway? Let me ask you something, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. When was the last time you changed someone's mind in an argument? When was the last time someone who doubted you, who criticized you, who dismissed your dreams, suddenly stopped mid-sentence and said, you know what? You're absolutely right. I was wrong about you. It doesn't happen. And do you know why? Because arguments were never about truth. They were never about facts. They were about ego, about control, about someone else's desperate need to feel superior by making you feel small. And you fell for it. Every single time. You engaged. You defended. You explained. You justified your existence to people who had already decided you weren't enough. But something's changed in you, hasn't it? I can see it. There's a shift in your energy. You're tired. Not the exhausted kind of tired that comes from working hard. No, this is different. This is the tired that comes from finally realizing you've been fighting the wrong battle. You don't argue anymore. Not because you've given up. Not because you've become passive or weak or indifferent. But because you've discovered something that changes everything. Your results speak louder than your words ever could. The death of the need to explain. There's a specific moment in every person's evolution when they stop explaining themselves. It's not dramatic. There's no announcement, no grand gesture. It's quiet. It's internal. It's the moment you realize that people who don't believe in you don't deserve access to your vision. Think about the most successful people you know. The ones who've actually built something. The ones who've created empires from nothing. Do they spend their time arguing on social media? Do they waste their energy defending their choices to people who've never taken a single risk in their entire lives? No, they're too busy building, too busy executing, too busy winning. Because here's what you need to understand. Defending yourself is a poor person's game. It's what people do when they haven't achieved anything substantial enough to speak for itself. When you're actually winning, when you're actually making moves, when you're actually transforming your life, you don't have time to convince anyone of anything. Your bank account convinces them. Your lifestyle convinces them. Your peace convinces them. Your freedom convinces them. You know what's more powerful than any argument you could ever make. Showing up 6 months later, completely transformed. Showing up with a business they said would fail, thriving. Showing up in the shape they said you'd never achieve. Showing up in the relationship they said you didn't deserve. Showing up with a life they said was impossible for someone like you. That's not revenge. That's resurrection. The silent execution. Let me tell you what happens when you stop arguing and start executing. First, you reclaim time. Massive amounts of time. Do you realize how much of your life you wasted trying to prove yourself to people who don't matter? Hours, days, weeks, years of it. All that energy you poured into defending your dreams, explaining your vision, justifying your choices. Imagine if you'd invested that energy into actually building what you were defending. You'd already be there. You'd already have won. Second, you reclaim your power. Every time you argue with someone, every time you try to convince someone of your worth, you're unconsciously asking for their permission to be great. You're positioning them as the authority over your life. You're saying, please validate me. Please approve of me. Please tell me I'm allowed to pursue my dreams. And they feel that. They sense that weakness, that need, that desperation for their approval. And it disgusts them. Not because they're cruel, but because deep down, they know that anyone who truly believes in themselves doesn't need anyone else's permission to exist. When you stop arguing, you stop asking for permission. You stop seeking validation. You become sovereign over your own life. And that terrifies people. Because they can't control you anymore. They can't manipulate you with their opinions. They can't use their approval as leverage. Third, you force people to reckon with reality. When you're arguing, people can dismiss you. They can say you're all talk. They can call you delusional. They can laugh at your ambitions. But when you go silent and start working, when you disappear into your purpose and emerge with results, they can't dismiss that. They can't argue with success. They can't debate evidence. They have to watch. And watching you win is far more painful to them than any argument you could ever win with words. The psychology of the doubter. Let's talk about the people who doubt you. The ones who criticize. The ones who say you can't. Do you know what they're really doing? They're not assessing you. They're confessing their own limitations. When someone tells you that you can't build a successful business, they're really saying, I couldn't build a successful business. When someone tells you that you'll never get in shape, they're really saying, I've never had the discipline to get in shape. When someone tells you that you're dreaming too big, they're really saying, I've never had the courage to dream at all. Their doubt isn't about you, it's about them. It's a projection of their own fears, their own failures, their own surrender to mediocrity. And when you argue with them, when you try to convince them otherwise, you're essentially trying to heal their wounds. You're trying to fix their mindset. You're trying to expand their limited view of what's possible. But here's the truth, you can't. You can't convince someone to believe in possibilities they've never had the courage to pursue. You can't inspire someone who's already decided that settling is safer than striving. You can't awaken someone who's comfortable in their sleep. So stop trying. Let them sleep. Let them down. Let them criticize from the sidelines while you're on the field playing the game. Because there's something beautiful that happens when you stop engaging with doubters. They become irrelevant. Their opinions lose power. Their words become background noise. And eventually, their voices fade completely because you're so far ahead, so far evolved, so far removed from who you were when they knew you, that their assessments no longer apply. The strategy of silence. Now I want to be clear about something. Silence isn't avoidance. It's not running away. It's not passive aggression. It's strategy. It's conservation of energy. It's a mature recognition that some battles aren't worth fighting because the war is already won. Think about it like this. If someone challenges you to a race and you're driving a Ferrari and they're on a bicycle, do you argue about who's faster? Do you waste time trying to convince them that you have the superior vehicle? Or do you simply start the race and let the results speak for themselves? Silence is the Ferrari. Arguments are the bicycle. One gets you where you're going. The other keeps you stuck at the starting line, debating the mechanics of motion. When you embrace silence, you embrace focus. You stop scattering your energy across 1,000 pointless debates and concentrate it into one laser-focused beam directed at your goals. And that level of focus is devastating. It produces results that shock people. Results that silence critics not through confrontation, but through demonstration. I've watched people transform their entire lives in the time it would have taken to win one argument. I've seen empires built in silence. I've witnessed revenge served not through words, but through undeniable, irrefutable success. And here's what's fascinating. The people who doubted you, the ones who criticized you, the ones who said you'd never make it, they're watching. They're always watching. They tell themselves they don't care, but they're checking your social media. They're asking mutual friends about you. They're quietly monitoring your progress, hoping you'll fail so they can feel validated in their doubt. And when you don't fail, when you actually succeed, it breaks something in them. Not because you tried to break them, but because your success forces them to confront their own excuses. Your wins highlight their losses. Your growth exposes their stagnation. The theater of winning. My voice rises with intensity, filling the space between us. Here's where this gets powerful. Here's where silence becomes not just a strategy, but a statement. When you stop arguing and start winning, you turn your life into a theater. And everyone who doubted you has a front row seat. They watch you build. They watch you grow. They watch you transform. They watch you achieve everything they said was impossible. And they can't look away. It's like watching a magic trick. They know it shouldn't be happening. It defies their understanding of reality. But they can't deny what they're seeing. This is the silent power of walking away. You're not abandoning the fight. You're elevating it to a level they can't compete at. You're moving the battlefield from words to results. And in that arena, there's no debate. There's only demonstration. I pause, letting the weight of that truth settle before my intensity shifts to direct engagement. Listen to me right now. If what I'm saying resonates with you, if you feel this in your core, if you're ready to stop arguing and start winning, I need you to do something. Hit that like button right now. Not for me, for yourself. As a declaration that you're done wasting energy on people who don't deserve access to your vision. Drop a comment below and tell me the one thing you're done explaining to people who will never understand. Tell me what you're going to build in silence while they talk. And subscribe to this channel, because we're building a community of people who've stopped debating their worth and started demonstrating it. People who understand that the best argument is a life well lived. Do that right now. Make that commitment. I'll wait. I cross my arms, my gaze unwavering. The transformation they never see coming. The beautiful thing about working in silence is that your transformation shocks people. They remember who you were. They're stuck with that old version of you in their minds. And when you reappear, different, stronger, more successful, more peaceful, it shatters their understanding of who you are. They can't reconcile the person they doubted with the person you've become. And that cognitive dissonance does something to them. Some will be inspired. Most will be bitter. But all of them will be forced to acknowledge that they were wrong about you. And you won't have to say a word. Your presence will say it. Your energy will say it. Your results will say it. I've watched this happen countless times. The person who was told they'd never amount to anything shows up as the CEO. The person who was called too old to change careers shows up thriving in a new industry. The person who was told they'd always struggle financially shows up with investments, assets, and financial freedom. And the doubters? They scramble to rewrite history. Oh, I always knew you had it in you. I never doubted you. I was just trying to keep you grounded. Lies. All lies. But by then it doesn't matter. Because you're not seeking their validation anymore. You're not waiting for their approval. You've already validated yourself through action. The economics of energy. Let's talk about energy as currency. Because that's what it is. You have a finite amount of energy every single day. Every interaction, every conversation, every thought. It all costs energy. And arguing is one of the most expensive energy expenditures there is. Think about the last argument you had with someone who doubted you. How did you feel afterward? Drained, frustrated, exhausted. And what did you gain? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You didn't change their mind. You didn't feel better. You just depleted your reserves. Now imagine you took that same energy and invested it in your craft, in your business, in your health, in your relationships that actually matter, in your skills, in your growth. What would be different in your life right now? This is the economics of energy. And successful people understand this at a level that average people don't. They protect their energy like a dragon guards treasure. They don't waste it on people who don't add value to their lives. They don't spend it trying to convince the unconvincible. They invest it strategically, ruthlessly, into things and people that compound, that grow, that produce returns. When you stop arguing, you're not being weak. You're being economically intelligent with your most valuable resource. You're saying, my energy is too valuable to spend on you. I have empires to build. The loneliness of the path. I'm not going to lie to you. When you make this shift, when you stop arguing and start executing, you're going to feel lonely. The people who used to engage with you in those pointless debates, they're going to fall away. The ones who fed off your need to defend yourself, they're going to disappear. And for a while, it's going to feel isolated. You're going to be tempted to go back, to re-engage, to explain yourself, to seek that validation you've trained yourself to crave. Don't. Dude, that loneliness is not emptiness. It's space. Space for new people. Space for better people. Space for individuals who are also building in silence, who also understand that results matter more than rhetoric, who also protect their energy and invest it wisely. The path of silence is the path of the elite, and the elite are rare by definition. But when you find them, when you connect with others who've made the same choice, the relationships you build are different. They're based on mutual respect, not mutual validation, on shared excellence, not shared mediocrity, on genuine support, not performative encouragement. These are the people who will celebrate your wins without jealousy, who will support your growth without feeling threatened, who will challenge you to be better without tearing you down. But you'll never find them if you're still stuck arguing with people who can't see your vision. The compound effect of wins. Here's something they don't tell you about winning in silence. It compounds. The first win feels small. Maybe you lose 10 pounds. Maybe you make your first $1,000 in your business. Maybe you finish a project you've been procrastinating on. It doesn't feel like much, but you keep going, you keep building, you keep executing. And the second win comes faster, the third even faster, because you're developing momentum, you're building skills, you're creating systems, you're becoming the person who wins. And people who doubted you, they're still arguing, still debating, still explaining why things won't work instead of making things work. And the gap between you and them widens, not just in results, but in mindset, in capability, in reality. Within 6 months, you're unrecognizable. Within a year, you're unreachable. Within 2 years, you're in a completely different universe than the one you left behind. And here's the beautiful irony. By the time they acknowledge that you were right, by the time they admit that you did what they said was impossible, you don't even care anymore, because their validation no longer matters. You validated yourself through consistent action and undeniable results. The art of letting results speak. There's an art to this. It's not about being arrogant. It's not about rubbing your success in people's faces. It's about quiet confidence, about knowing who you are and what you're capable of without needing to announce it. When someone asks what you're up to, you don't give them the full vision anymore. You give them the simplified version. You keep your real plans, your big dreams, your ambitious goals to yourself. Not because you're secretive, but because you're protective of your energy and your vision. You let your results do the talking. You show up different. You carry yourself different. You speak different. Not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you've become someone different. And people notice. They ask, what's changed? And you smile, because you know what changed. You stopped seeking their approval and started building your empire. I lean forward, voice dropping to an intense whisper that somehow fills the entire space. The ultimate power move. You want to know the ultimate power move? It's not confrontation. It's not revenge. It's not even success itself. The ultimate power move is indifference. It's when someone who doubted you tries to re-enter your life after you won, and you feel nothing. No anger. No satisfaction. No need to say, I told you so. Just complete, genuine indifference. Because you've moved so far beyond that version of yourself that needed their validation. You can't even connect with emotions anymore. They're strangers now, not enemies, not friends. Just people who exist in a reality you've transcended. That's freedom. That's power. That's what it means to truly stop arguing and just let them watch you win. My voice rises again with commanding intensity. This is where you make a choice. Right now, in this moment, you can go back to arguing. You can go back to explaining. You can go back to seeking validation from people who will never give it. Or you can commit to the silence. Commit to the work. Commit to building something so undeniable that words become unnecessary. If you're ready for that commitment, I need you to act right now. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. We're not here for motivation that fades. We're here for transformation that lasts. Comment below with one word. Done. Done arguing. Done explaining. Done seeking permission. Just that word. Done. Let it be your declaration. And share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's still wasting their energy on people who don't deserve it. Do it now. This is your moment. A step back, arms spread wide. The new you. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You spent the last 12 months in complete silence. No arguments. No explanations. No defending your choices to people who haven't earned the right to question them. Just work. Just growth. Just consistent, relentless execution of your vision. Who are you? What have you built? What have you achieved? What have you become? That person. That future version of you. They don't argue anymore either, but for a different reason. They don't argue because there's nothing to argue about. Their life is the argument. Their success is the rebuttal. Their peace is a closing statement. And the people who doubted you, they're exactly where you left them. Still talking. Still debating. Still explaining why things can't be done while you're out here doing them. The difference between you and them isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't privilege or opportunity or connections. The difference is that you stopped spending your energy on words and started investing in action. You stopped arguing your way to success and started building your way to it. The final truth. My voice becomes quiet but carries absolute certainty. Here's the final truth. Nobody remembers the arguments. Nobody cares about who said what or who was right in some pointless debate 3 years ago. But everyone remembers the person who said they'd do something impossible and then did it. Everyone remembers the person who walked away from the noise and built something beautiful in the silence. Everyone remembers the winner. So stop arguing. Stop explaining. Stop defending. Start building. Start growing. Start winning. Let your life become so powerful, so successful, so full of purpose and peace that it answers every question anyone ever had about you. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them doubt. While they're busy running their mouths, you'll be busy running your empire. This is the silent power of walking away. Not away from a fight, but away from a circus. Away from the drama. Away from the people who want to debate your worth instead of witnessing your evolution. Walk away into your power, into your purpose, into your wins, and never look back. Because the life you're building in the silence is too magnificent to risk for the temporary satisfaction of winning an argument with someone who's already lost a life. Now go, execute, build, win, and let your success be the only argument you ever make again. I lock eyes with you one final time, my voice resonating with absolute conviction. The age of explaining yourself is over. The era of winning in silence has begun. Welcome to the rest of your life.